Okay, so introducing social studies. I created this activity and it's called All About Me Handbook. And it's geared toward um, 24 months to 36 months, probably closer to 3 years. But I know my 2 year old did an activity somewhat like this at school, and I know that he really enjoyed doing this. So I also thought that this would be a great way. It kind of has a different spin on it. But supporting social studies for Mississippi's early learning guidelines and standards. Um, Obviously, with guidance and support, it helps. This activity will help kids describe some of their family traditions, identify some positive characteristics of themselves and of others, and identify similarities and differences in themselves and people. So, kind of obviously every family is different, their traditions are different, their cultures are different, and this is helping kids identify that there are differences but they're also still the same. um, the specific goal in this is to exercise the kids identities and be the ability to identify themselves and the differences they may have between others in their classroom, but also to understand that differences are okay. This activity will allow the students to express themselves in their own through their own point of view. It shows exercises their ability of self-awareness, allows them to express their own thoughts and feelings, and use their own preferences and their opinions and their answers. So some of the questions that I would ask the kids are like, what are your favorite color? And why do you like this color? Does this color make you happy? Does this color make you sad? Because your friend chose this color, does it make you sad that they chose that color? Um, and also, just ask them, how can they express ways that they feel? Why do they feel this way? What is the reason why they might feel sad about something? Or what are things that might scare them? Why does it scare them? Just learning to help them express their emotions of things that they like. Um, so this is called a handbook because it's going to be their handprint, and it's going to be put together as pages, separate pages of different construction papers, and ask questions. So the first page would be like a construction paper color, whatever color that they would like to pick. The inside would be, you could do other pieces of construction paper for your inside, or just white paper. So you could have, you have options. So we trace their hand and cut it out. And I limited it to say like 7 pieces of paper. So you have a front cover page with their name on it and the title of the book, and then 6 questions. So each page that you would flip would have what is their name, and you obviously would have to write their name, and then they could kind of color around it. What is your favorite color? And you would let them pick their colors out of the markers or crayons that you're using and color their page with that. Um, what is your favorite food? Write what their favorite food is and let them draw their favorite food so they can express what it is. What is your favorite place? Like, where's your favorite place to go? It could be outside, in the yard, in the beach, in the car, Disney World, whatever their favorite place is. We would write it, teacher would write it, and they would color that page to draw what their favorite place is. One thing about them, one page would be one thing about you that you would like for us to know. Do you have a dog? Do you have a brother? Do you think the sky is really big? Just something that expresses their thoughts, and let them color that. Another one could be, what is one thing you would like to know that makes you happy? Something that makes you happy. So they like to play outside, that makes them happy. Their dog makes them happy. Their mom makes them happy. What is one thing about you that makes you sad? Um, some kids are outspoken. Grandma died, that made them sad. Or they don't have a pool at home, that makes them sad. They can't go to grandma's house, that makes them sad. So write that, let them color it. And one thing you could say, one thing that makes you scared. Monsters make you scared. Guns make you scared. Big dogs make you scared. things like that. So they could color that page. So each page would allow the kids to express something about them, and then they are able to draw it and through their own vision. So you would need scissors to cut the hands. You would need your construction paper for your design, um, crayons, markers or crayons, whichever one that you prefer. And you would need a hole punch. I don't have a hole punch at home, but you would punch a hole in the corner or at the bottom and just kind of tie it together to make a book, to bind it. So it's really simple things that you would have in your classroom that's easy to put together, but that makes a really fun classroom project. This activity would be, you could start by reading a book about a kid that has feelings, or about something that made them scared or something of that sort, and then just roll that into what you would ask the kids as far as to put it together. You could do an all about me day, or you could even roll this in with the show and tell. So if you're having show and tell that day, they're bringing something that they like or something that makes them happy, and they can incorporate that into their book as well. So that would be a good way to kind of prepare the environment, is to be talking about self and likes and dislikes and emotions. Obviously, this would be a very big guided project that they can't necessarily really do on their own. So it would take a lot of help as far as having to cut the paper, having to ask the questions, having to write the answers, and then guiding them to actually draw what they needed. So it's very, very much would need a lot of help. This activity would flow kind of like in a group project. You would have, 2 or 3 kids at one table, or 3 or 4 kids at one table, and then just kind of help them, maybe make it a center in your class for that day as an art project or activity project. To kind of close that activity would be a good opportunity for the kids to kind of take their turn, maybe at the end of their show and tell, to read their book. They brought this puppy dog stuffed animal because this is what they like. This is something that makes them happy, and they also mention that in their book. So the book would be a good time for them to introduce themselves to the class, have a good story time like that. This activity is important because it allows the children to physically express their own identity and who they are, and that every person is different, and that's okay. It's okay to see different sides of how different people's traditions and things are. If going to Disney World is something that makes you happy, but other people like to go to the beach and that's what makes them happy, or like to go camping, that makes them happy, that's because that's what their family likes to do and that's what they've learned to like to do. So it's interesting for kids to see that there are different things out there that they can like. This is relevant to overall classroom planning and curriculum, because this curriculum, like I said, is a sense of social studies, studying the social activity of the kids and where they belong in society, and how identifying that different things makes different people happy. And it's building the personal handbook is for the kids' time to identify their own personal identities, in a great way to implement this domain into this activity.